Let me walk you through a real example. A business owner in North Carolina. The exact sequence they used, the banks, the timing, the limits, real numbers. Abstract strategy is one thing, but seeing a real sequence play out is different. In this video, I'm going to walk through an actual example, step by step, of how a business owner went from zero in business credit to getting approved for $113,000 in business credit in just a 3-month period. Where they applied, when, what they got, and what they did next. So starting profile, the personal credit score was about 740. Not phenomenal, but pretty good. They were a single member LLC with a real business address, not just a registered agent address. They had a business checking account open at a couple different banks, clean payment history, which means no late payments, no collections, charge-offs, etc. And they also had low personal credit utilization, so low balances. So this is a solid profile, not exceptional, but a really good starting point. Other things to make sure is done prior on the personal credit report would be things like ensuring you have at least one tier 1 personal credit card from a top 4 bank, like Chase or Wells Fargo. Having at least $15,000 of collective personal credit limits. Having a wiped slate of hard inquiries, and having average age of your credit profile of at least over 2 years, ideally over 5 years for average age. So once all of that is worked on and complete, this student moved on to the first business credit applications, which was the Chase Inc. Business Cash and the Chase Inc. Business Unlimited. The reason Chase was first here is because they already had 0% interest business credit cards from American Express. If they didn't, we would have done American Express first. But the result at Chase, on the Inc. Cash, it was approved for $18,000, and the Inc. Unlimited was approved for $22,000. So for a total at Chase of $40,000, 0 interest for 12 months. Both of these applications were submitted the same day. For Chase, they do require 2 hard inquiries, one for each application, one for each card, unfortunately, but certainly worth it specifically at Chase. 15 days after Chase, they applied for Bank of America. The business checking account at B of A was open for over 3 months, and it had consistent deposits and consistent revenue and consistent activity, and they had about $10,000 in the account at the time of the applications. The result at Bank of America on the Business Advantage Unlimited was approved for $15,000. The second card at Bank of America was approved for $12,000. Third was $8,000, and the fourth 0% card was approved also for $8,000. So the total at Bank of America was $43,000 at 0%. This is for 7 months. So a running total now of $83,000 of 0% interest funding. And one thing I will mention at Bank of America, generally you can get approved for more than one of their cards. The first card is going to have the highest limit. The second card might have the same limit, but over those applications, generally the limits will get smaller, but they do allow you to move credit limits and move them between cards. So it is possible to actually stack those limits, not on just 4 cards, but actually combine them to just 1 card. So simultaneously to the Bank of America applications, Elan affiliated credit unions were also applied for. So since Chase and Bank of America pull from Experian generally, Experian is getting a little bit loaded up on hard inquiries, but TransUnion is still low if they started on a clean slate of hard inquiries. And fortunately, Elan Financial credit unions will pull from TransUnion. So the result at Elan Financial is they approved 2 cards. 1 card from 2 different Elan banks. Okay, 1 card here, 1 card there. The first card approved $15,000, and the second card approved for the same amount, being $15,000. So at Elan alone, $30,000 was approved, which is 0 interest for 18 months. But at this point, the running total was $113,000. At this point, we still had some more options on the table, like Truist, Citizens, and Wells Fargo, but at $113,000 in funding at 0 interest for 7 to 18 months, this was sufficient for this person, and they decided to leave some options open and on the table for future funding if and when they need, which is a really good strategy. It's definitely best not to exhaust all options right off the rip. So if done right, you can attack only a few banks and reach your funding goal while leaving some future options open for when you need them. The opposite would be targeting all banks with subpar strategies and getting approved for less funding while exhausting all of your options. So that's not very ideal, but that's a real sequence. Real banks, real limits, real timeline. The profile wasn't perfect, The credit score was solid, but not overly elite. The business wasn't making a ton of revenue yet, but what made it work was the preparation. The bank relationship was built before the applications, and the personal credit profile optimization, it was executed beforehand. Your numbers will look different, but the structure should be the same. If you want help mapping out your specific sequence, I want to invite you into the credit stacking mentorship program for only a small membership cost. If you're anything like me, it's going to be an absolute game changer for you. So if you want to get access to funding, you want to learn exactly how to do it, that link is right down below to credit stacking. That being said, I'll see you in the next video.